afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Vita. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Vita.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Good
afternoon, Vita. Good
afternoon, sir.
afternoon. Good afternoon, dear. All of you, please put yourself on mute.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir.
Namaste.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon, dear. Good afternoon, Vita.
So
Good
I have
afternoon.
sent you a doubt
Sir,
on
today is my birthday.
checked it, so please clear that
Acha,
doubt
happy
in
birthday
this
to you, dear.
class.
I'll take it in another class, dear. Today, I think
So please
it will
can you
be
take it in this class? I want it. I'm making something.
that cascading menu kind of thing you want, no?
No, I'm just asking that how can we make the code.org platform scrollable?
Scrollable. So for that, we guys can make use of text area. There is a component called text area. So you can make use of that and do it with help of that. But I will
Sir,
take it if I will get the time. Yes, who's this?
sir, we can make a text area, but the components cannot scroll, only screen scroll.
There is a trick that we need to make them scrollable. Just hold on for a moment. How many of you have joined in? Okay, 17. So let's begin with the lecture. I'm sharing
Sir,
my screen for you guys.
so you can explain in future classes?
Definitely, I'm going to do that, dear. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, I'm going to do that. So these are the screens we guys will be using for make understanding the concept of cascading dropdowns. So let me just delete the unnecessary screens from this Applab. Screen 7, we do not require. Screen 8 also. Yeah. What about screen 9? Screen 9 also we don't require. Okay, so there is a photo select component present over here on this screen. I am renaming the ID of this screen to screen 1. Fine, and this there are 5 different text input boxes I have placed over here. One is for the email address. Let's eliminate this email address from here. So we are going to keep it like this. Okay, so first one is for the name of the person. Second one is for the country. Third one is for the state, and this fourth one is for the uh, for that. The fourth one is the component in which the user will be entering the name of his city in which he is residing. Okay, so once the user is done with submitting his profile on this platform, automatically I would like him to get redirected on this screen, the name of which is drop down list. Okay, now what is meant by cascading drop downs? Cascading drop downs means that the drop downs are connected to each other. Two or more drop downs are connected to each other. For example, if suppose you'll hit this drop down over here, I want to see the names of different countries. Okay, here on this what we call it drop down, and whatever selection I will be making on the basis of the same, I would like the name of the state to get reflected over here in this drop down. Similarly, whatever selection I'm going to make here, I would like to see on the basis of the same, the name of the city should get reflected over here on the third drop down. So that's how we will today in this class, we will be learning how can we connect these drop downs with each other. Okay, and on the basis of the same, we are going to fetch the input over here.
Excuse
Okay,
me, sir.
yes, beta.
Sir, so for example, sir, from in the last some, if there will be some time, sir, so can you explain the last one project that was a stopwatch timer, sir, as I was absent? A short recap.
I don't think that it will be possible for me, dear. I really
Okay,
hope
sir,
so.
no problem.
So what I am going to do, see, this is the first screen. When the user will open this app on his screen for the first time, this is the screen he's going to come across. Okay, now there is a button over here with name submit. Let me increase the size of this screen so that it can be more visible to you guys. So we are going to define an uneven block for this button over here. What is the idea of this button? The idea of this button is submit. S is in capital. And all of you, please put yourself on mute. Once the user is done with hitting the submit button, I would like a table to get created on the data browser. Now for that, I can make use of this create record block and I can put it over here. Okay, and I'm going to name that table as users. So a table with name users is going to get created on the data browser when the when any user who is accessing this app will hit the submit button. Now there are 5 things which I would like to store in that table. The first one is the profile pic. Okay, so this is a photo select option that I have made use of here. I hope everyone is aware about this photo select option. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
this is the one which I have made use of here. So what it will do, it will fetch for us the URL of the image which we want to get reflected on this drop down list for a particular user. Okay, so with the help of this now you can upload any image on this app. Now how we can do that, that's what we are going to learn about today. The second thing is this name, third thing is this country name, fourth thing is this state name, and fifth thing is this city name. So we need to create 5 different columns for storing these 5 different things in that table, which is users. So how can we do that? The first thing that we are going to store is the photo. So this is the column name in which I will be storing the photo. Now, how will I access the photo which the user is going to upload here using this photo select option? So for doing that, we have got a block over here in this UI controls part of toolbox. Now the name of that block is,
Get set image URL.
that is absolutely right. The name of that block is get
Set
image
image
URL.
URL.
It is not get image, it is not set image URL here.
It's get
It is
image
get
URL.
image URL because we are trying to get a URL address. Okay, we are trying to fetch a URL address of a particular image. So it will be get
So,
image
sir, when
URL.
we
Yes,
click
sir.
on that, so,
Just
sir,
hold
when
on,
we will
hold on,
click, then it will
hold on.
open our files.
Hold on for a moment. You have to put yourself on mute. Let me complete my part, and after that I'll discuss the queries. Whatever queries you'll come across now, I'll take all the queries of yours. Don't worry about anything. Okay, now the ID of this button is profile pic. So what I am going to do, I am going to convert it back into block based coding, and from here I'm going to select this profile. What is the ID of this? It is profile pic. P in capital, P in small, both the P's are in small. Okay, so this is the one. Now in this component the user is going to enter his name. Let me do one thing. In the placeholder, let me define these things over here so that the user don't get confused. State, and in this he is required to enter his city name. Okay, now the second thing, who else is there in the waiting room? Fine. Now the second thing that we need to store in this table over here for that user is his name. So for that we are going to create a new column with this name, and we need to pull the input which the
Get
user is going.
text.
Again, Bhishma, you have to put yourself on mute, beta. It is get text that we will make use of, and we are going to put it over here. Now, what is the idea of this button? It is name. So we are going to replace this ID with name, and then we can copy this whole code. Okay, we can copy this whole code. Let's press enter and come in the next line so that everything can be visible to you guys. Now you can place a comma, and then you need to paste it like this. Paste, then put a comma, then okay. Now we have got 5 different columns. Okay, now the second column is for the country, so I need to replace it with country. And what is the idea of this component? It is country only, so we need to replace this with country. Similarly, what is the idea of this? It is state. So the third column we need is the state in which we will be storing the name of the state of that person. The fifth one is the city. So when the user now will hit the submit button, everything, whatever the user will enter here, it is going to get stored in the database in a table named users. Fine. Now, once the user is done with storing his information, I would like him to get redirected on this screen. This is a simple screen on which what I have done, I have made use of an image button. This is an image button which you are seeing, and on this image button I have defined a GIF image. Okay, so what I would like to do, once the user is done with creating his profile, I would like him to get redirected on this screen 8. So I can make use of this component screen, and I need to replace it with the screen. So this is the whole code that I have defined over here, with which the user will be able to create his profile on this platform. Now, once all the users are done with creating their respective profiles on this platform, when they will hit this image 8 button, I would like them to get redirected on this screen, the name of which is drop down list. So for doing that, I need to make use of this on event block. I am putting it over here. Okay, and what is the idea of this image? It is image 13. Okay, so I need to replace this ID with image 13. Where is that image 13? This is the one. So when the user will hit this image 13 button, I would like him to get redirected on the drop down list screen. Okay, he's going to come here, and now here what I want is the names of all the countries of all the users should get reflected over here in this first drop down, that is country drop down. I want the names of all the countries of all the users, whoever has registered their profiles on this platform, the names of their countries should get reflected inside this drop down one. How can I do that? So I'm trying to what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to fetch more than one item at the same time. So for this I will be making use of a list variable. You remember we studied about list variables in one of the previous lectures. So that's what we are going to do today. We are going to make use of the list variables in order to fetch the names of all the countries of all the users who are going to register themselves on this app. Now, for doing that, what we can do, we can make use of this read record block, and we can put it over here inside the on event block, which we have defined for this image 13. Okay, now from where are we going to read the records? We need to read the records from users table. So for that, we can replace this my table with users. Okay, and you remember, in order to define a list variable, what we have to do, we need to do it like this. Let the name of that list variable be items. Okay, equal to, and after that you need to place these two square brackets like this. Fine. So this is now a list variable that we have defined over here. Now in order to store the names of all the countries inside this list variable, what we have to do, we need to remove all this thing from here, and here we guys will be making use of this property called append item, which will be appending all the items.
So you told that append item in the last class also.
That is absolutely right, dears. So that's what we are going to make use of now also. And here we are going to place this records I, and in place of name, we are going to replace it with what? See, the names of all the countries are going to get stored in this country column, right? So we need to replace this name with country. So now all the names of all the countries are going to get stored in this items list, items variable. Now, how can we make those items reflected in this first drop down? So for doing that, what we can do, we can, just a second, why I am getting this error. Okay, I haven't placed this bracket over here. And now why am I getting an error over here? Yeah, now it is fine. And now for setting the text of this drop down equal to this items. Okay, what I need to do, I can make use of
Set
this
text.
block, set property, not
Set
set text,
property.
set property. Okay, because right now we are trying to fetch the fetch more than one items at the same time. So that is the reason we guys are required to make use of this set property block. Let's convert the code back into block based coding, and from here we are going to select the ID of this drop down, that is drop down 1. Where is that drop down 1 over here? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, and we are setting the options for this drop down 1. So from this second drop down, we are required to select options. Okay, and let's convert it back into text based coding. We need to remove all the things from here, and in place of this, is there anyone waiting in the waiting room? Right? Okay, and in place of this, we need to place this items variable over here. Okay, so that's how we can append the names of all the countries to this drop down 1 over here. Now, on the basis of the selection, suppose a person, there are 3 countries which gets which are getting reflected over here in this first drop down: England, India, and let's say Canada. Suppose a person selects India. So on the basis of his selection, I would like the names of the states to get reflected in this second drop down. How can I do that? So for doing that, I can define an on-event block for this drop down 1. So this is a trick that you have to use, that you guys can use for making a cascading drop down, for creating a cascading drop down. If you want to connect one drop down with the other drop down, you guys have to define an on-event block for this first drop down, inside which you have to define the coding which will fetch for us the records for this second drop down. How? That's what we are going to see now. Now the ID of this first drop down is drop down 1. So we need to replace this ID with drop down 1. Okay. So when the user will make a selection, so when the user will change this drop down 1, change the selection of this drop down 1, I would again like to read the records from which table? From the tables named users, and against the name of which country the the names of the states which should get reflected over here. Against those states, the name of the country should be that which the user is going to select from this drop down one. So how can I define a condition like this? So here what you guys can do, you guys can define a condition over here in between these two curly brackets. How you can define a condition? So for that we can, because we want the country name should match with the one the user is going to select in this drop down one. So that's the reason we can do it like this, get text, and in this drop down one. Okay, so that's how you can put a condition over here in between these two curly brackets. I think Abhinav is getting disconnected again and again. Okay, and again we are going to define, just hold on for a second here, hold on. Again we need to define a list item over here, because we are trying to fetch the names of more than one items. It can be possible that there are more than one states for a particular country. So that is the reason we need to define one more list for this. Let's say states. Okay, this is the name of the list item I am creating, list variable, sorry. Now we can copy this whole code and put it over here. Now we are trying to append the items. Where is that? Okay, here we need to replace it with states, and it should be state, right? Because the name of the column in which the names of the states are going to be saved is this state. So we need to replace this with state. Okay. Now finally, what is the idea of this drop down? It is drop down 2. So how can we get the items reflected over here in this drop down 2? By replacing this with states. Okay. Similarly, I would like the names of the cities also to get reflected over here in this third drop down based on the selection which the user is going to make in this second drop down. So for that, what I can do, I can copy this whole thing from here and I can put it over here. Now, what is the things that I need to change? The first thing is this. It should be state. Okay. Now based on the selection which the user is going to make here in the second drop down, I would like to fetch the records for this third drop down. So that is the reason I need to change it to 2. Okay, and instead of states, we guys are going to have now cities. This is the third list variable I'm making use of, and I am going to put it over here also, and here also I'm going to make it cities. And let's replace it with drop down 3, and we need to replace this with the name of the column in which the name of the cities are getting saved. So this is the name of that column in which the name of the cities will get saved. Fine, I think we are good to go now. Let's run this, what we call app, and check out whether we'll be able to get the required output or not. So first of all, I am going to check whether there are any images on my desktop or not. No, there are not. No image on my desktop right now. Let me download some images from here. So this is the first image I'm going to make use of. Okay, let's download a GIF image also. Let's download this one. So as to check whether its photo select options select, supports the GIF images or not. So that is the reason I'm downloading this one. Now here I am going to, this is the name that I'm giving to this image with which I'm saving this image on my desktop. Okay, and one more thing that we need to define is this show. Is the code for this show, right? Show button. So let's put an on-even block here, and what is the ID of this? Is show. Beta, all of you, please put yourself on mute. I'm able to hear some noises from the background. Kindly put yourself on mute. So when the person will hit the show button, I would like to read the records from this users table one more time. And now I would like to see the image, the name, and the let's remove this email ID part from here. I would like to see the name of the person and the profile pic of the person based on the selection that he has made here in these 3 drop downs. So for doing that, what I can do, Beta, can you please put yourself on mute? Kindly put yourself on mute. So let's make use of if loop. Okay, how can we do that? We can put this if loop block over here. Now if the records I dot city equals to if the city name matches with the one which the user is going to select from this drop down 3. This is the first condition that we need to check. Get text, and let's replace it with drop down 3. Okay, and copy this whole thing and put it after this, then copy this whole thing and put it after this. So we are required to check 3 conditions: the city name, the state name, and the country name. How can we do that? By making use of this AND logical operator. Okay, and here we are going to replace this with state. Now this state name should match with the selection which the user is going to make in this drop down to, and the name of the city should match with the name of the country. Sorry, the name of the country also should match with the one which the user is going to select in this drop down 1. Okay, and if this condition is true, so we would like to see the image of that user here on this image button, the name of which is profile pic. So how can we set the image? By using this set image URL block, we can do that. ID of this one is profile pic, so we need to replace this ID with profile pic, and in order to fetch the URL which is going to get stored in the database in the table named users, what we can do, we can make use of this records because the URL is going to get saved in which column? In this column, the name of which is photo. So we can fetch the URL of that image like this, records dot photo. So this is going to set the image on this image button, and besides we would like to get the user's name also to get reflected over here in this component named person name. So we need to make use of set text button. Person name is the ID. person name, and what is the text? Records I dot name. Okay, and let's remove this part from here. Now let's run this app and
Sir,
check whether
sir,
it is going to give us the desired result or
sir,
not. Yes.
in sir, in if you can sir, in first you can add and logical operator, and second you cannot. Yes, sir.
No,
Yeah.
I can do. Acha, I haven't used this logical operator. No problem. I think now it is good to go. Let's run this app and check out whether it is going to give us the desired output or not. So I am going to run it in a new tab, and this time I'm going to run this app in two different tabs. Okay. So on this one, we need to hit this photo select button. Automatically, we are going to get redirected. Here on this desktop, let's select this first image from the desktop, and here I'm going to keep it Gaurav. Sorry, I think I have by mistake clicked on this photo select option again. India and state Uttar Pradesh, city Ghaziabad. Let's hit the submit button. Okay, so we have got redirected on this image. Now let's create the second profile here on the second tab. So I'm selecting this one. Abhi, let's say England, state UP, city, let's say Delhi. Okay, let's submit. Hit the submit button. Okay, now let's hit this. I'm coming on the first tab again, hitting the submit button. I'm coming on this first tab again, hitting the submit button. So as you can see, the name of the countries are getting reflected, right? Are you all able to see the name of both the countries over here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's select England from here. So automatically it is going to fetch for us the name of the state. Let's select Delhi. You're not able to see the city name here. Why is it so? Have we made any mistake over here?
Sir, you have made a mistake.
Let me just check whether I have made any mistake for this. Why is this not getting changed? Is drop down to where cities.
Sir, there is a mistake in state get text drop down 2 should be there.
So this should be city, yes.
It should be city.
So
No, that
in
is the
the
reason we guys were not getting the output. And here it should be, here it is drop down 1, and here it should be drop down 2, right? It should be drop down 2 here. No?
Yes,
That is
sir.
the reason we guys were not getting the
Yes,
output.
sir.
See, that's how you can rectify your errors. Let's delete the data table which has got created over here. Now let's refresh this app one more time and check out whether we are going to get the desired result or not now. So I'm going to open it in 3 different browsers. And whatever we are doing now, I would like you guys to practice it daily so that you guys can, it will be more easy for you guys to understand the core concept of coding when we'll be doing Python and other object-oriented programming languages. Country, India. State, let's say Uttar Pradesh. City, Ghaziabad, and let's hit the submit button. Let's do the same thing for this one also. I'm selecting this image. Anita, India, UP, Ghaziabad. Okay, and I'm doing this same thing for on this third one too. Abhinav, England, state, Delhi. Okay. Now let's hit this image button. On this also, I'm going to hit this image button. And on this also, I'm going to hit this image button. So now you can see the names of the countries are getting reflected over here. Why the city name is not coming?
So you can go to the app's coding debug console. There you could get whatever mistake we had made or something
I
else.
think that that is a great idea, dear. Let's see whether we are making any mistake or not.
Because usually
Drop
when
down
I
3
create
options.
mistakes, I get mistakes there.
Okay, dear. Just give me a short moment. Let me check one more time whether there is any mistake in this code or not. State we. Let's run this app one more time and
You can open the debug console for checking everything.
Sir, when we run this app on this code.org, sir, then only it gives us the debug.
for now I'm putting this thing here also and here also. Okay, there I think we are not getting any error reflected over here. I think there is some issue with this code that we have defined for fetching the records for this third drop down. Now we
Sir,
need
you
to
have put
check.
append item states and record i.city. See.
Sir,
No,
at
it
the
was
last you have written drop down 2.
At the last I have, I think there is some issue in this code. That is the
Yes.
reason we are not. Now what is the issue? That's what I'm trying to find out. Drop down to, if we
Sir,
change it.
excuse me, sir, as we have made the login screen, so sir, when we log in that, so sir, can we make an option like view profile, so then the user can also add the profile?
But first of all, we need to check for this error. Just a
Okay,
second.
sir.
Country, state, against this state, this city is getting reflected over here. It should get reflected over here. Why is it getting reflected over here in the second drop down? That's what we need to find out.
Issues, I think.
If I'll not
Sir,
be able to resolve this thing in this class, we'll take it in another class. Don't worry about that. Okay.
43 one, you have written on even drop down 2. It will, I think it will come drop down 3.
Why it will come drop down 3, dear?
You've written drop down 2 in the one event.
It should be drop down 2 only.
Can we
Why it
just
should be
check
drop
it
down?
again?
Acha, just a second. Beta, it should be drop down 2 only.
Can we try with the console log?
No, there is no error in the code. We are making some mistake over here, due to which we are not able to fetch the items for the city part. Just a second. Drop down 2 is going to match user, cities, records, append
Sir, it is
item.
drop down to okay.
Records I
State
dot city, set property. What is the idea of this one? It is drop down 3.
down 3.
It is also fine.
Sir, just go a little down.
Chalo, if I'll make it drop down 3, then will it be possible for me to get text drop down to cities? Cities. Let's check it one more time. But don't worry if we'll not be able to do it now. We are going to do it in the next class. And I would like you guys to, I will be sharing with you guys this code. So it will be good if you can also try and find out the error we are making
I
here.
also remix the apps you send and do all sort of stuff, adding in it and removing.
Excellent, dear. Excellent. If it is so, excellent.
So because yesterday I sent you